Good morning and welcome back to Tiempo. I'm Ana Carbonell.
And I'm Miguel Perez.
And on today's show, which is our second show and we're really excited about it, we have some interesting people. You know, Miguel, I'm going to be talking to Father David Arias, who has been appointed by the Pope to serve as auxiliary bishop in the Newark area. And I think he has a lot of good things to tell us about what's happening in the Hispanic community out there.
I'm really looking forward to it. I will be talking to a member of Aspira, which is a national Hispanic organization that for over 20 years, they've been helping Hispanic youths educationally throughout the country. Also, we'll be talking to some urban homesteaders who are doing a great things to improve the looks of our city, rebuilding abandoned buildings throughout the city. And so we thank you for spending this tiempo with us, and we'll be back in a moment.
Right, join us in a little bit.
How you spend your free time is up to you. And the choices you make are keys to your personality.
Starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 5, Kaidi Tong begins a week-long report on You Are What You Like.
Some of us like to get physical when we unwind.
Yes, Kaidi, but some of us like more cerebral sports.
You have to have your head together in order to play this game.
Take the You Are What You Like daily quizzes starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 5 and find out who you are.
For Valentine's Day, your participating Carvel ice cream store has Cupid the chocolate nut. Yeah, he's back. And the twin heart cake in Bordeaux cherries. Isn't that something? Now, these products, folks, are made custom, handmade, fresh in your Carvel ice cream store. Want to send one to a friend in the Northeast or in Florida? Please phone the toll-free number that you see here, and we honor most major credit cards. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I help you?
¿Me puede cambiar este cheque?
No entender. I don't speak Spanish.
Si en su banco se siente como un extranjero, venga al Banco de Ponce, donde se sentirá como en su casa. El Banco de Ponce es el banco hispano más grande de Nueva York. Tiene todos los servicios que usted espera de un banco y oficiales y empleados hispanos que comparten con usted. Más que su idioma, comparten y resuelven sus problemas.
¿Le puedo ayudar?
Banco de Ponce, sirviendo a la comunidad por más de 30 años.
No, Roberts, it wasn't my idea to hire you. I mean, I'm not in business to do favors. I got buildings to put up. Oh, I took you on, sure, but I never thought you'd make it. Rotten weather, back-breaking work. You know, you do good work, Roberts. Starting Monday, I know you're going to make a good foreman.
All I ever needed was a chance.
Everybody deserves a chance to make it on their own, and there are things you can do to help. Contact the New York Urban League.
Father David Arias is with us today, and on April 7th, he will be ordained as the new bishop for the Newark area. Welcome, Father Arias. How are you?
I am feeling fine, Anna.
Father, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing with the New York Diocese for the last 16 years? I understand you've been here for 16 years.
Yes, I came here 16 years ago, and ever since I've been working with the Hispanic community, mostly engaged in a movement that is called the Cursillo movement.
What is the Cursillo movement?
Is geared to train lay leadership to be more acquainted with the faith and the work of the church. So in New York, we have a place whose name is St. Joseph Center, and we conduct cursillos every weekend to train lay people in the doctrine of the faith and also in the pastoral work of the church.
I understand also that you have a marriage encounter group as part of that?
That's right, and it happened that I was the beginner of the marriage encounter in this country. The marriage encounter started in Spain, and I knew about it, and I invited Father Gabriel Calvo, who is the founder, and he came and gave the first two marriage encounters in New York with me, and ever since 1967, it has spread all throughout the United States and even all over the world.
Now, how does that really work? I mean, is it a weekend thing that you do? Is it a week-long event, or is the marriage encounter just sessions that you go to?
Well, the program in itself consists of 2 full days in which husband and wife get together for reflection and dialogue. So the main purpose of it is to build communication between husband and wife. And it is a program that is very successful and orienting couples and doing a nice work in achieving good results.
Are the children in any way involved in this?
Not specifically or directly in the marriage encounter, but they are the beneficiaries of the marriage encounter. And for sure they will notice that their parents have gone through a good experience, and when they will feel the benefits.
Well, now that you've been named auxiliary bishop, what, or how should I say, will your role change?
Well, basically, I will be a minister at the service of the church. I will continue to do the same as a priest. Now the responsibilities are wider. Yeah, we know that the function of a bishop is to be a teacher, means to preach the gospel, to convey the gospel message to the people in general, and to govern the church, to organize the people, and to the practice of the faith, and also to sanctify the people. It means to give them the sacraments and the means of nourishing their spiritual lives.
Well,
so,
will you be as much with the people as you have been until now?
I think I have to be more with the people now than I was before, even though I was most of the time very involved with the people. But the role of a bishop calls you to be even more involved with the people in general and with the people in leadership roles in the church.
Do you have, well, you have fathers who will be under your auspices, I assume. That will be all the Newark area?
Yes. The Archdiocese of Newark is composed of 4 counties, Union County, Hudson, Essex, and Bergen counties. And all the Catholics in that area are served by the Archbishop Garrity, who is the ordinary, we call the ordinary, who is the titular bishop of the diocese, and he has another 4 auxiliary bishops and myself.
Is there a large Hispanic group there?
Yes, indeed. And they tell me that the number is somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 Hispanics.
Yeah, it's a large number. Are there any problems peculiar to the Hispanic community, do you find, or in working with non-Hispanic groups? Are there any problems particularly that you'd like to deal with as an Hispanic?
I would say that the problems affecting the Hispanic community are basically the same in this area of New York. So what I found here in New York City would be something similar in Newark. And there are great needs, of course. From the religious point of view, for example, there is a great need of continuing religious education.
Yes.
Most of our people are Catholic, feel themselves to be deeply Catholic, but they need an instruction in their faith. So that's what religious education is all about.
Do you also give added counseling for the other problems like unemployment and housing?
Yes, in every diocese there are offices dealing with all these needs of the people. And we have Catholic charities, social programs, and dealing with problems of housing and children without parents, and alcoholism and drugs, and many other services.
All right, well, before we run out of time, let me just ask you, on April 7th, you're going to go and be ordained. I mean,
that's right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, you can imagine I'm a little nervous because it's a new stage in my life. I'm thrilled.
It's a great honor.
And really, it's an honor, but it's also a responsibility. And at times, the responsibility weighs more than the honor. So I'm very, very happy of this appointment of the Pope. And as the Archbishop of Newark, Archbishop Garrity, said, I'll be a gift to the Church of Newark. I'll try to do my best to serve all people in the Archdiocese of Newark, and whatever I have, whatever my talents are, I will give them on behalf of the people of Newark Archdiocese.
Well, thank you very much for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again, okay?
Thank you, Anna.
All right,
Thanks.
stay tuned.
Next, Hispanics aspire through Aspira.
Come on along, love, as Richard Simmons shows you how to put your energy into activities other than eating. Then Jay and Bob meet a woman who should be on the Simmons Show. She enjoys being fat. You think you've got troubles.
Then at 10 at Good Morning New York, the latest from Hollywood and New York, from Entertainment Tonight reporter Robin Leach. We'll meet funny lady Nancy Parker, and pet expert Brian Kilcommons takes us to the dog.
So come on along. It all starts at 9 Monday morning.
It has the look that sparks desire. A touch like gentle fire. I hope you understand. I just can't keep my hands off of Shams.
Shams de Baron, better than ever.
You're welcome. Can I help you?
¿Me puede cambiar este cheque?
No entender. I don't speak Spanish.
Si en su banco se siente como un extranjero, venga al Banco de Ponce, donde se sentirá como en su casa. El Banco de Ponce es el banco hispano más grande de Nueva York. Tiene todos los servicios que usted espera de un banco y oficiales y empleados hispanos que comparten con usted más que su idioma, comparten y resuelven sus problemas.
¿Le puedo ayudar?
Banco de Ponce, sirviendo a la comunidad por más de 30 años.
Peace Corps volunteers are bringing knowledge to children of other countries where teachers are needed for math and science.
The children are learning math. I'm learning a new language and dealing with another culture. I'm also gaining valuable experience that will help me in the future. Muy bueno. I feel great.
The Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
We have with us the Assistant National Executive Director of Aspira, Rafa Costa, and welcome to Tiempo.
Thank you.
What does Aspira stand for?
Well, Aspira is a Spanish word meaning to aspire.
Mm-hmm. And how did you come up with that term? What does the organization try to do?
Well, it deals with youngsters who are interested in pursuing an education, primarily a post-secondary education. And we seem to feel that if they have aspirations that go beyond what is normally happening to our children, that we ought to help them as much as possible to aspire and to achieve.
Well, what was the motivation to start this agency, and how long has it been going?
It's 22 years young. It was started by a group of very dynamic women here in New York, headed by Dr. Antonia Pantoja, who were looking to foster as much as possible the aspirations that youngsters had. At present, we're located in 6 states and in the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. And we consider ourselves young as opposed to old, simply because there's so much more to do.
Well, just tell me briefly, what are some of the services that Aspira provides for the youth?
Fine. The services run a full gamut of orientation for college, financial aid, counseling. We provide them with information having to do with how to make applications, how best to present themselves, how to prepare for a college interview. And we also have a very interesting program where we work with youth who are interested in pursuing an education in health. And we can begin with them from the time that they're in junior high school all the way until the time that they have graduated from medical school.
At one time, about how many students is Aspira working with?
In the beginning, I would say we probably serviced about 200 youngsters, and that was only in the New York area. At present, we're servicing approximately 10,000 youngsters per year nationwide.
What is happening here in New York City with Aspira? What are some of the programs here in New York that Aspira is sponsoring?
Here we have a program in Talent Search. We have programs in YEP, that's a Youth Employment and Training Act. We have the health careers component that deals with youngsters both in high school and in college. And those
what do you
are in
do for the
medical school.
students? For example, this program in high school and college, what kind of services do you provide for them?
Sometimes it's a very low-level job where you're simply providing them with an environment that allows them to nurture one another. At other times it becomes very technical, where you're providing formal services in remediation and the like. But more importantly, it's grouping them together with other people like themselves, peers, who are interested in pursuing education, and the street is not for them.
How has Aspira been involved in bilingual education? I know that's a major controversy in this country.
Yeah, here in New York, we've been majorly involved with the consent decree that was granted in the suit against the Board of Education. We're back in the courts again because although we were awarded a decree, it has not been enforced to our satisfaction.
What did that decree do?
It mandated that bilingual education had to be put in place and that you could not substitute English as a second language program for bilingual education.
And how long did that go on? What has happened since?
Well, it's approximately 7 years since the decree was handed down, and it still has not been fully enforced. And so we're back in the courts at present, and we're looking to negotiate with the Board of Education a more reasonable settlement.
How is Aspira funded, and have you had any problems now with the government cutbacks? Do you receive any kind of federal aid, and where does the money come from for all these programs?
Well, our money comes from two different sources, both private and public. At present, we get approximately 60% of our monies come from the public sector and 40% from the private sector.
What are you doing in the future now as far as, first of all, what kind of, have you had government cutbacks? Are you hurting because of, we hear of all these different agencies, public agencies that are getting cut back. Have you been hurt by that, or are you doing some other things to come up with the money that is being taken away by the government? How much government funding do you get, first of all?
This year alone, we're going to lose approximately $800,000. It's an awful lot of money to lose, especially for a small organization like ours. But more importantly, this loss is difficult to recover because the expectations, as you hear President Reagan speak about it, is that the private sector is supposed to pick it up. Well, one has to imagine that they do not have the resources to suddenly fill in this enormous gap that's being created. For us, about 2 years ago, we decided that if we were going to survive these cutbacks, that we had to become self-sufficient. And as a result, we began to work on a series of ideas.
I understand you have some programs where, commercial programs, where the organization has gone into profit-making programs. How does that work?
That's correct. We incorporated something called Arawak Enterprises Incorporated that imports goods from the far and Middle Eastern country. And using the aspirantes, these are the club members themselves, we look to use them as salespeople, and throughout their communities, in their schools, whatever environment it is that they function in, they sell these products that we import. At present, we have a fantastic line of silk shirts, kurtas, which is the Indian maize shirt.
Are these things being sold here in New York City now?
Yes.
Where?
Throughout the neighborhoods, using the students again as salespeople.
And how much fun is this raising for Aspira?
Well, we've only been in operation now for approximately 2 months. We have concluded 3 sales, so that the funds to speak of are not great, but we do expect to really become very self-sufficient in the very near future.
Well, we wish you good luck, and we thank you for being on the show. It's been very informative, and we'd love to have you back some other time so you can talk more extensively about some of the things that Aspira is doing. Anna?
Next, Urban Land Wars.
Old Grandma Hubbard crashed into her cupboard.
I can't get the hang of these skates. Whoops!
You need a break.
Hey, don't fall flat.
Take a portable snack. Orange and banana will bring you right back. Bikers can peel us
for fast energy.
So when you need to break, break for me.
Orange.
Banana.
I think I skinned my knee.
I just skinned a banana.
You're welcome. Can I help you?
¿Me puede cambiar este cheque?
No entender. I don't speak Spanish.
Si en su banco se siente como un extranjero, venga al Banco de Ponce, donde se sentirá como en su casa. El Banco de Ponce es el banco hispano más grande de Nueva York. Tiene todos los servicios que usted espera de un banco y oficiales y empleados hispanos que comparten con usted. Más que su idioma, comparten y resuelven sus problemas.
¿Le puedo ayudar?
Banco de Ponce, sirviendo a la comunidad por más de 30 años.
New York, Channel 7's got a star-spangled week of entertainment tonight. You'll meet the driving force behind the success of Little House, the multi-talented Michael Landon.
I enjoy working.
Also this week, our note-for-note coverage of music's Grammy Awards.
And the Star Parade continues when E.T. brings back more of the hits that made TV history.
It starts with the sitcom that set the standard of excellence, The Dick Van Dyke Show.
It's all on Entertainment Tonight, tomorrow at 7:30 on Channel 7.
250,000 Americans have died in alcohol-related accidents in the past 10 years.
It's no accident. Somebody goes out and chooses to drive drunk.
25,000 a year.
There was no Christmas this year.
500 each week.
We miss her terribly.
68 each day.
Ruined us.
Shouldn't the punishment fit the crime? Starting Monday on Eyewitness News at 6, John Johnson takes a Target 7 look at drunk driving.
There's been some heavy criticism these days that our city is crumbling before our very eyes. But our two guests today are proving this a fallacy.
They are Cheryl Romo, Director of Sweat Equity, an urban homesteading program, and Margarita Lopez, one of 6 Hispanic women who are putting a lot of money and sweat into an abandoned 5-story building on the Lower East Side. And I'd like to welcome you.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Cheryl, tell us, how does your program work?
Well, we deal with 2 programs. One of them is called the Sweat Equity Program. The other one's called the Urban Homesteading Program, and they're both administered supposedly by HPD. The program called Sweat Equity involved people doing work with their own hands and a contractor doing part of the work, and the city would make a loan, a long-term loan at 1%. That program was virtually cut out of existence by budget cuts. And when it was cut out, there were like 102 buildings in the pipeline. And about 8 of the buildings got their loan, and that was that. And on the Lower East Side, there were 8 buildings in the pipeline that had planned to go into that program, had done a heck of a lot of work. And Margarita's building was one of those.
How many buildings right now are under this
Well, we've managed to find ways to salvage groups and buildings that needed to be salvaged and to go ahead. So one of the things we did, I work for UHAB, which is a not-for-profit organization. We're up at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. And we put together a pilot program called Urban Homesteading, in which if the city would give us a grant to put in the systems, in other words, the heating and the plumbing and at least some of the electrical, that homesteaders would come in and do everything else with their own hands and their own money. And we did 4 buildings.
But that must be a lot of money.
It's a lot of money spread over time, but these are all very low-income people. These are working people. They worked nights and weekends. And we now have the pilot project, 4 buildings on Amsterdam Avenue, ready to get a certificate of occupancy, fully renovated, gut renovation. And the city put in about $5,000 a unit. And the homesteaders have put in about the same amount.
And a lot of work.
And a lot of work, and it's 2.5 years later. But once that they saw that the program seemed as if it would work, that was a pilot project that we sort of devised the program and sold it to the city and said, give it a try. The next group of buildings, once they felt it was a workable program to go in, were the buildings on the Lower East Side. Went into the program. Margarita's building was one of those. And I know Margarita wants to tell you about her building.
Why did you do it?
I'd like to know why you did it.
Well, we started in 1979. We living in a very poor community, the Lower East Side. And you know the majority of the people who living over there are Hispanic. And the most part of us, the member of the group, are looking for an apartment, and we don't find any because the rent are so high that we cannot pay it. Then we decide to take over a building and start to renovate that building. In the beginning was really hard because the people in the community don't believe that 6 women can make it. and they make the life impossible for us.
Are these 6 women or 6 families or 6 single women, or
Okay,
how does it work?
Are 6 women who are single, but some of us are children, and all of us are head of household.
Wow.
And we are the one who working inside of the building.
Is this a 6-unit building?
It's going to be 7-unit building because we want to create a community room for give to the women in our community a chance to understand that they can make a home for them.
Oh, that's great.
And at least 45% of the population in the Lower East Side are women with children.
What was the major problem that you had? I mean, do you have any craft? You know, I can imagine like tearing through cement and stuff like that. You'd have to go through those walls.
Well, the major problem that we have was that the people don't believe that women can make a home, cannot work inside of a building and knock out walls or carrying a piece of wood. They believe that we are so fragile, you know, that we cannot do anything.
You do all the construction work yourselves?
Well, right now we are in the process of demolition, and we only make the demolition. Nobody else came to help us. The only person who started to help us was our architect that came to be a woman too, Catherine Adam, and she is fantastic with us. Besides Sharon, when she can help us, that was a long time ago because before the cut of the money. But then she cannot be in contact with us anymore.
Where's your building now? What state is it at?
Okay, right now we finished with the demolition and the clean of the building. It's clean and the demolition is ready.
When will you be living in it?
We're waiting for HPD come and start to make the construction inside because we got a grant, $43,000. But that's nothing for 7 units.
I can imagine.
You know, that's nothing. With that money, we cannot make it. We need to find other money for make it because we are low-income people, and our job don't provide so much money.
Well, listen, Margaret, I wish you the very best of luck.
Really,
you too, Cheryl.
Really, good luck, and we hope that the program goes forth.
Right.
Thank you. I know that this can happen. If you wanted, this can happen, no matter what, who is in front of you.
Well, Cheryl, Margarita, thanks a lot for being with us today. We wish you a lot of luck. And before we say goodbye, let me thank WNJU for their Menuda footage, which we used recently on our program.
And we hope you'll tune in next week and spend more tiempo with us.
Tomorrow night, Michael Landon of Little House talks about teenage drug abuse and how he's trying to combat the problem. Watch Entertainment Tonight, tomorrow night at 7:30.